Thanks for tuning in and hearing me out on another interesting topic. And this time I want to talk about what's currently going on in the world vis-a-vis white nationalism and the neoliberal / xio-liberal elite. Currently, the way it's cast is white nationalists, this racist force, are the evil guys, and this neoliberal force of globalists, etc., the power, the order of the world, are the good guys, and that's why you see the left co-opted into fighting this battle, and Muslims and people of colour, you see in America, having this war between white nationalists and themselves. And I want to put to Muslims something else on the table, a different way of viewing this, a possibility, a consideration at least, right? I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but I think it's something for us to consider. I think Muslims, sadly, because they lack intellectual leadership, just end up following any old, BS really, that the liberals or the corporate media or even the left put on it, without any analysis, nothing from their own prism. They don't offer any analysis. It's always just analysis of everyone else. And because we just don't have the leaders, our leaders are more interested in how big your beard is and how short your trousers are, right? To worry about what's going on in the actual real world, right? So here's the thing. How do we view this? It's in my mind, it's not good versus evil. It's evil versus evil. The white tribe, white nationalists, are fighting for power, for their tribe. And the globalists, the Zionist, neoliberal governments around the world, they are fighting to maintain their control of the power. So it's a fight for power at the very top. Yeah, like Game of Thrones, right? Everyone's an evil guy and everyone's fighting it out. Yeah. And so what we're saying here is that don't view it as good versus evil. These two forces are fighting each other. It's not people of colour's fight. First and foremost, we don't hold power. We are powerless. So in fact, it's not our fight. Ultimately, if white nationalists weren't as thick as they are, they wouldn't be fighting us at all. Beating us up in the street doesn't help them. They're not going to get power by beating up a taxi driver. To get the white tribe back in power, they've got to wrest it off people far more powerful than the taxi driver or the poor lady in a headscarf walking down the street. It's the echelons, it's the Zionist, globalist, bankers, etc. that run this world. And Muslims have to, I would argue, put that third argument on the table and say, hold on, you guys fight it out. This is not our fight. This is not a racist versus non-racist fight as it's cast in the media. And it's easy to cast because white nationalists being thick buy into, clearly they believe in racism, and they see us as some sort of enemy. But the intelligentsia of white nationalism understand that although they hate us, the real power is not held by us. The real power that they're trying to fight for to get back into power is against the globalists, Zionists, etc. Right? So the average white nationalist on the street doesn't get that and plays into this race war. Now I want you to just consider this. The neoliberal, Zionist media, etc., have been in power at least since the end of the Second World War, across the Muslim world. Have Muslims or people of colour had it good under them? No. Most people have learnt to be racist due to the mass media. Most people, right? And most people have learnt to hate Muslims and kill them and want to bomb them and see them incarcerated or throw acid on their faces or beat up some poor guy on the street because of what the media is perpetrating day in, day out about Muslims. Now, that's not white nationalist media. The white nationalists do not control the corporate media. It's the globalists, it's the Zionists that control the media. So you have the current media that's claiming to be the good guys, the system that's claiming to be the defenders of people of colour and Muslims, are the very people that have been using us, abusing us and demonising us since they've been in power. So how does that work out? Why would they do that? And it's very simple. Pardon me. they need the immigration. Why? It's cheap labor for them. But B, it also acts as a convenient ideological weapon for them. The more immigrants there are in Western world, what they can use them as to make white people fair and disenfranchise white nationalists, take away their power because they're fighting each other. They don't want white power to get in, so they'll use immigrants as the people that acts as a buffer and say, well, hate these immigrants, don't hate us. Focus on these poor people. They're the ones that are taking your power. Don't focus on us. We look like you. Can you see how convenient we are as pawns for them? They need us. If they didn't have us, they would have to invent us. And on the second thing, we're also the buffer that when these white nationalists start to grow in power and anger at what they see, yeah, we act as the neoliberals, the Zionist kind of systems defenders, and come out and fight these white nationalists. We fight for a system that is against us. Why are we doing that? Why are these black guys and these left and Muslims fighting in America against these white nationalists? Yes, you can say, well, hold on, these white nationalists are saying we hate Muslims. Well, you telling me the neoliberal system has said anything else? Open a newspaper today and tell me anything that is a white nationalist newspaper. You won't find one. They're all controlled by a Zionist or neoliberal or corporate company, or corporate billionaire. So if it's about white people saying nasty stuff, well, guess what? The side that's claiming that they're defending you are saying far worse. They're spreading that hatred that white people are picking up on. Yeah, the white tribe or white nationalists are picking up on. So the game here is this. You are fighting a fight that isn't yours. This is about power, and you don't have power. Don't get involved. Not your fight. And what you need to do, your speakers, your intellectuals. I know you don't have many, or you don't have any, right? But you should be it. You should be the guy on your Facebook page, on your Twitter, to start to push out to the white tribe. Stop attacking us. We're not the people who hold power. They are your enemy, not us. We're not fighting for these guys. That's your war with them. Don't involve us. Whether you hate us or you like us, it doesn't benefit you at all to fight us. We're not the people that will ever change the situation. You could kill off all the taxi drivers in the whole of Manchester. White tribe is never going to get back into power. It's the bankers, the globalists, the Zionists that you need to fight, not us. And they don't drive taxis, mate. So just understand that. Muslims, articulate your argument. Put a third argument out. White nationalists, you're picking on the wrong guys, and you're just being stupid in that way. I don't support white nationalism. I want to make that clear. Of course I don't. Hello, you know, I'm a Muslim, and you know, I definitely am not a racist. Islam forbids it, but I understand why a white tribe would want their power back, or their power base. Why not? I mean, power is about fighting for power, right? And globalists have taken it away from them, so they're fighting for their own power. That's up to them. Nothing to do with Muslims. Yeah, don't get involved. Don't fight it. Oh, your point, your activism is putting this third argument forward. Don't involve us in your wars, and don't pretend you're defending us to the corporate system that's currently governing. You're not defending us. You've never defended us. Yeah, Obama killed more people in power than Trump ever has. Yeah. Nick Griffin, for all his, racism and arguments, was against foreign wars. Yeah, Tony Blair, who claimed that he believed in multiculturalism, first guy to make a Muslim, part of his inner circle, was one of the biggest mass murderers, and he was a Labour politician. So don't be fooled by their words. It's deeds that matter. Lastly, I would like to say, understand this: the white movement itself is not a homogenous whole. In the UK, for example, the white nationalist movement is co-opted by the same people who are the globalists, the Zionists. They have co-opted the EDL, for example. Tommy Robinson isn't a white nationalist. Although he tries to co-opt the movement, he actually is, in fact, the same system as the Zionists. That's why he recently went out to Israel. That's why he regularly gets support from Zionists. Why? because what this globalist system does, it infiltrates the white nationalist system or any system that would oppose it and becomes the head of it. So ultimately, it can always move and maintain in power. In America, it's slightly different because the leadership of the American white nationalist movement haven't so far been able to be co-opted by the globalists. So they still maintain control of the white nationalist movement, and that's why the media hate them. The media don't hate the EDL. Have you ever seen them really go for the EDL? No, they haven't. But they hate the American white nationalists because they are a real challenge and haven't been able to be infiltrated by the Zionists yet. Or at least infiltrated to the level where their leadership is owned by them. Yeah. So that's my view. Have a think about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to hear some counter arguments. I'd like to hear what your views are. Sorry it was so long, but you know, it took some time to articulate my thoughts on this. Really appreciate you listening. Assalamu alaikum.